Hey, welcome back. We've already seen that these first two steps of the Journey.net 2.0 roads. We've seen the first step is to be honest, to admit that we need what only God has for us. And the second step is to be open, the choice to receive what God would give us to help meet our need. Well, the third step is the pivotal one. We call it believe. It's a step that involves faith. Now let me explain. You see, faith is the decision to believe that God will do what God has already promised to do. Faith is not wishful thinking or hoping for something hard enough that we think we can make it happen. Faith is just believing God will do what He said. For example, when you ask God to take away your sin and to fill your life with His Spirit, well, we believe He did just that. Why? Because He promised He would. Well, this believing decision affects everything God wants to give you and me. In fact, faith is the centerpiece of our relationship with God. It's like He says, Mike, just trust me. And when I do, I live with faith, with believing in what God has promised. Now, how does this affect our journeys? Well, when we recognize our need and we ask God to pour what we need into our lives, steps 1 and 2, then we must believe that God will do and even has done what He's promised. And that believing is what begins to change me in major ways. Let's go back to our example of forgiving someone. When we admit we need God's forgiveness and we ask Him the way He told us to, through admitting and turning away from our sin, our next step is to believe that He's forgiven us. Is that hard? Well, it can be. When we feel really bad about our need or have trouble forgiving ourselves for our wrong choices, it can be hard to believe God has forgiven us. Or if we are asking God for greater self-control, it can be hard to believe He's bringing it, especially if we've been frustrated by our recent failures in that area. Believing is based on what God will do, not on what we have done or can do, and that's very important. You may think, I'll never change, or I can never break this unhealthy habit. Well, you may be right, but God can change you, and God can help you conquer that habit too. The key to believing is to believe God will do what He says, not what you say. Now, you may want to believe a new car will show up in your driveway, but God didn't say He'd do that. There's a lot He said He would do, so some of our journeys will be finding out what those promises really are. Once we choose to believe in God's promises, there's really only one way to prove He has given what He has promised, and that's our next step. You'll find it on part 5 of this journey. I'll see you then.